Welcome everyone. Let us study about the interior of larynx. Interior of larynx. To study the interior of larynx, we have removed the posterior aspect of the skull, the posterior cranial fossa, along with the vertebral column and the muscle attached to the vertebral column. Okay. Now what we are seeing is actually the pharynx. So this is actually the pharyngeal wall. You can see this is the pharynx. See, we can even see the posterior aspect of the tongue. Okay, we can even see the posterior aspect of the tongue here. So once we open the pharynx, the last part of pharynx will lead to the larynx. We can see the larynx is guarded by the epiglottis here. You can see this is the epiglottis. This epiglottis, and this is the cavity of larynx. Where the forceps is there is actually the cavity of larynx. Now we are going to study about the cavity of larynx. The cavity of larynx extends from the laryngeal inlet. Okay, this is the laryngeal inlet up to the lower border of the cricoid cartilage. So this is the lower border of cricoid cartilage. After this, what we are seeing is all tracheal rings. Okay, these are all the tracheal rings. Posteriorly, the tracheal ring is deficit. Okay, it's a C-shaped cartilaginous ring. Okay, so this is the lower limit of cricoid cartilage. This is the laryngeal inlet. So this much is actually the larynx. Now this larynx communicates superiorly from the laryngeal inlet to this area. This area is called the laryngopharynx. Okay, this area is the laryngopharynx. Okay, now coming to the laryngeal inlet, boundaries of laryngeal inlet. This is the anatomical position where the face is in the anterior aspect. So for the larynx, if you see, this area is anterior and this side is the posterior aspect. So anteriorly the inlet is bounded by the epiglottis. This is the inlet. This much is the inlet. So anteriorly it is bounded by the epiglottis, and posteriorly it is bounded by the interarytenoid fold of mucous membrane. So these two are the arytenoid cartilages. Okay, these two are the arytenoid cartilage with the mucosa covering it. Okay, so these two folds of mucous membrane on either side is called the interarytenoid fold of mucous membrane. So which forms the posterior boundary on either side. On either side, if you see, we can see this mucosal fold. On either side, if you see this mucosal fold, this is called the array epiglottic fold. From the arytenoid cartilage towards the epiglottis it is extending, and this is called the array epiglottic fold. So on either side it is bounded by array epiglottic fold. So the boundary of laryngeal inlet is epiglottis in front, the array epiglottic fold on either side, and interarytenoid. Okay, and the interarytenoid fold of mucous membrane on the posterior aspect. Okay, that is about the boundary of laryngeal inlet. Now we will see the interior of larynx. This is a specimen of larynx which is removed, and we have cut open the larynx from the posterior aspect. From the posterior aspect we have cut open the larynx. This is the laryngeal inlet. This is the epiglottis, and we can see the interarytenoid fold where we have cut. Okay, so now once you open up the cavity of larynx, first two prominent structures we need to note. This is the two fold of mucous membrane here. So you can see one on the lower aspect, one on the upper aspect. Okay, these two folds. So these two are this upper fold is actually the vestibular fold, and the lower fold is the vocal fold. Okay, so there are two folds which are formed called the vestibular fold above and the vocal fold below. Okay, so the two folds are there. Now this cavity of larynx can be divided into three parts by these two folds respectively. Okay, above the vestibular fold it is called the vestibule of the larynx, otherwise called the supraglottic compartment. So above the vestibular fold is the vestibule of the larynx, otherwise called the supraglottic compartment. Between the vocal and the vestibular fold we have the sinus of the larynx. It is called the sinus of the larynx, otherwise we can call it as ventricles of the larynx, otherwise we can call it as the extended part of the sinus of the larynx is called sinus of Morgagni. Okay, sinus of Morgagni. So this is about the sinus of larynx which is present between the vestibular fold above and the vocal fold below. Next, below the vocal fold, this region up to the lower part of the cricoid cartilage. Okay, this is the infraglottic compartment. So this is the cricoid cartilage which is cut. So this is the lower border of the cricoid cartilage. So this much will be the infraglottic compartment. If you see the vocal folds, okay, if you see the vocal folds, so these are the vocal folds, it is getting attached from, see, this is the thyroid cartilage. You can see this is the thyroid cartilage. Okay, so from the lower aspect of the thyroid cartilage, on its inner part of the lower aspect of the thyroid cartilage, that is along the lower part of the angle of the thyroid cartilage here. Okay, lower part of the angle of the thyroid cartilage, and it travels posteriorly and get attached to the, see, you can feel a cartilage here. This is actually the arytenoid cartilage. This is the vocal process of arytenoid cartilage. You can feel here. This is the vocal process of arytenoid cartilage. So it's getting attached to the vocal process of arytenoid cartilage. So in anatomical position, we can see this area of the larynx. Okay, the space between the two vocal fold is called the rama glottidis. It's called the rama glottidis. The space between the two vocal fold is called rama glottidis, and the space between the two vestibular fold is called the rama vestibuli. The space between the two vestibular fold, which is located here, is called the rama vestibuli in anatomical position, and the space between the two vocal fold is called the rama glottidis. This rama glottidis is the narrowest part of larynx. This rama glottidis is the space between these two. Okay, is the narrowest part of larynx. If you see the rama glottidis, for males it will be longer, and in case of females it will be shorter. Okay, from anterior end to posterior end, if you see, for males it is longer, and for females it will be shorter. If you see, it is made up of two parts. You can see this is actually the membranous part. This is actually the membranous part, which will be extending up to the, see, this is the muscular process. This is actually the vocal process of arytenoid cartilage. It will be extending up to the vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage, and this vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage and the body of the arytenoid cartilage will contribute to the formation of cartilaginous part. So this part of the rama glottidis, okay, is called the cartilaginous part of the, between the two cartilages, between the two cartilages, between the two arytenoid cartilages, we have the cartilaginous part of the rama glottidis. So this is actually the membranous part of the rama glottidis, which is almost 3/5 of the length, and almost 2/5 of the length will be the cartilaginous part of rama glottidis. So with this model we can compare now. So this is actually the vocal fold. Okay, this is actually the model of vocal fold. This is extending from the angle, on the lower aspect of the angle, to that of the, see, the vocal process of arytenoid cartilage. This is the arytenoid cartilage. Okay, so after all the mucous membrane is removed, it will be looking like this. So this is actually the vocal cords, or the vocal process. This is actually the vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage, and this is actually the vocal fold, which will be extending from the angle, lower part of the angle of the thyroid cartilage on its inferior aspect. Okay, on its inferior aspect, and it is extending up to the arytenoid cartilage on its, see, the vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage. This is actually the muscular process of arytenoid cartilage. So this area is the intercartilaginous part of rama glottidis, between the two cartilage. Okay, this area is the intercartilaginous part of rama glottidis, and this area is the intermembranous part of rama glottidis. This area is the intermembranous part of rama glottidis, which is almost 3/5, and this is actually contributing to the 2/5 of rama glottidis. Now let's see some of the features of sinus of larynx. So this is the sinus of larynx, which is between the vestibular fold and the vocal fold. So this sinus is otherwise called sinus of Morgagni. As you see, this sinus extends little superiorly like this. See, there is so much of forceps is going inside. You can see here. So it extends superiorly, suprolaterally. You can see it is extending suprolaterally between, see, this is actually the thyroid cartilage, between the lamina of the thyroid cartilage and the vestibular fold. See, this is the vestibular fold. Between the vestibular fold and the lamina of the thyroid cartilage is extending inside, and this space, or this cleft, is called the sinus of Morgagni. This cleft is called the sinus of Morgagni. Okay, this sinus, this part is otherwise called as the saccule of larynx. Okay, and this saccule contains lot of mucus glands which will help to lubricate the vocal fold. Okay, which will help to lubricate the vocal fold, because vocal fold will be always vibrating. So to lubricate that vibrating part, this mucus glands which are present inside the saccule of the larynx will be helping, and hence this can be otherwise called as oil can of larynx. Okay, the saccule of larynx can be otherwise called as oil can of larynx. Okay, this is about the interior of larynx. Next, if you see the mucosa of this larynx, the upper part of the mucosa of the larynx, which is actually lining the epiglottis, and also the part of the air epiglottic fold will be lined by stratified epithelium. Okay, will be lined by stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, because of constant exposure. Okay, constant exposure, it has to be much more thicker, so it is having stratified epithelium. Then if you see the lower part of the larynx, that is the vestibular fold, vocal fold, and the infraglottic region, it is actually unilayered, that is ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay, it is unilayered, actually it is lined by ciliated columnar epithelium. One more feature about the mucosa. So this is actually the vocal fold. So the mucosa covering the vocal fold will not have any mucus glands on it, all the mucus which is needed for the lubrication is coming from the oil can, that is actually the saccule of the larynx, where there is abundant mucus glands. Okay, now we'll see all these features using a sagittal section of face. Okay, using a sagittal, this is a sagittal section. You can see this is actually the tongue, this is the epiglottis. Okay, this is the epiglottis, this is the array epiglottic fold. So this much is the supraglottic compartment. Okay, this is a supraglottic compartment. Okay, this area will be the laryngopharynx. Okay, this area is the laryngopharynx. Now this is the vestibular fold, is the vocal fold. So this area is the sinus of larynx. Okay, we can see the sinus of larynx is prolonged upwards here. So this area is the oil can of the larynx. Okay, this one. Okay, this is the oil can of the larynx, otherwise sinus of Morgagni. Okay, this is the infraglottic compartment. This is the lower end of, see, this is the cricoid cartilage. You can see the lower limit of the cricoid cartilage. So this much is the larynx. After this is trachea. Okay, now we have revised the entire interior of larynx. Next, let us study about the blood supply of larynx. So the blood supply, venous drainage, and the lymphatic drainage can be divided into we can divide it into above the vocal fold and below the vocal fold. Okay, above the vocal fold and below the vocal fold. So the arterial supply above the vocal fold is by the superior laryngeal artery, which is actually a branch of superior thyroid artery. Similarly, below the vocal fold is inferior laryngeal artery, which is a branch of inferior thyroid artery. Okay, so easy to remember. Above the vocal fold is actually the superior laryngeal artery, which is a branch of superior thyroid artery. Below the vocal fold will be the inferior laryngeal artery, which is a branch of inferior thyroid artery. Next, coming to the venous drainage. So above the vocal fold will be drained by superior laryngeal vein, and below by the inferior laryngeal vein. Similarly, superior laryngeal vein will drain into the superior thyroid vein, and inferior laryngeal vein will drain into the inferior thyroid vein. Okay, next coming to the nerve supply. Again, up to the vocal fold. Okay, up to the vocal fold, this area up to the vocal fold will be the interior, that is the mucous membrane is supplied by the internal laryngeal nerve. Mucous membrane is supplied by internal laryngeal nerve, this much. Okay, below the vocal fold will be supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Mucous membrane is supplied by recurrent laryngeal nerve. Already we have studied about the muscles of larynx in our previous class. You can refer that for muscles of larynx and its action and its nerve supply. So the muscles which are present are called the intrinsic muscles of larynx. All the intrinsic muscles are supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve, except for the cricothyroid, which is supplied by external laryngeal nerve. At last, coming to the lymphatic drainage. Okay, so again above the vocal fold. Okay, above the vocal fold, drains along the superior thyroid vessels. Okay, the lymphatics will drain along the superior thyroid vessels to the deep cervical lymph nodes. Okay, to the deep cervical lymph nodes on its anterosuperior group. On its anterosuperior group, the deep cervical lymph nodes on its anterosuperior group. Okay, now coming below the level of the vocal fold, below the level of the vocal fold, it will be drained by the inferior thyroid. It will be drained by the lymphatics which are traveling along the inferior thyroid vessels, along with the inferior thyroid vessels, to drain into the deep cervical nodes. Okay, into the deep cervical nodes. Which group? The postero-inferior group. So both are deep cervical nodes. Above and below are by the deep cervical nodes. Only difference is this is the anterosuperior group. The above will be by the anterosuperior group, and below the vocal fold will be by the postero-inferior group of lymph nodes. So this is about the interior of larynx. Kindly refer to my previous videos for the cartilages of larynx and the muscles which are acting on larynx, which was demonstrated using this model. Thank you.